Okay, so let's talk today for a little bit about massive medical trauma as a young woman, as a mom, as someone with kids, or just a young woman with a lot going on. You're busy, you're working, you're moving forward in a career, maybe you're still in school, and experiencing massive medical trauma. I was talking to my editor yesterday for my breast cancer book, and we kind of rehashed this idea of the fact that, I'm working on releasing a book right now about my breast cancer experience, but my experience has really been in dealing with massive medical trauma, which is something that a friend brought to my attention. And so I was relating this to my editor that, you know, if we really kind of track things over time, what's really happened is that breast cancer was the first massive medical trauma that happened to me. But prior to that, I had a best friend die of a drug overdose. That's medical trauma. It's mental health, right? To some extent. Then I had breast cancer. Then my husband had a pulmonary embolism. Then we had a miscarriage. We've had these series of medical traumas that have led us to be traumatized. And oftentimes when we look at being traumatized, it feels like this overwhelming thing that you can't do anything about or that will never change. And to some extent, I think what's real is that you're always going to be traumatized, but you don't always have to act traumatized. And there's kind of a difference between this idea of, being able to work through what's happened and what's built, how your life has become, and seeing where these things have placed you, and working with that and using that in your current life and saying, okay, I can talk about this, or I can work through this. I can work on this. And you don't ever really like get over things. But you find ways to deal with them. You find things that help you deal with the fact that you are traumatized. And, perhaps the unfortunate truth is that we are all going to be affected by massive medical trauma at some point. Arguably, the pandemic has made everyone in the world traumatized by massive medical trauma, right? And so kind of we already are as a collective. But the real truth is we're all going to experience some massive medical emergency in our lifetime, whether we are the person it's happening to, or if we are in the periphery of the person who's happening it, right? A husband, a wife, or a best friend, a parent, a child. We're all going to experience some kind of this. And it's not really such like a taboo thing. It's not really such an uncommon thing, but it is a very lonely thing. And something that I think I've learned over the years that cancer kind of introduced me to, and then our subsequent traumas with my husband's pulmonary embolism and then the miscarriage, what I kind of have taken away from all of this is that you can take those things that happened that made life horrible, and you can have bad days, but they don't all have to be bad days. Today was kind of a bad day for me. There was a lot going on today. It was very emotionally taxing today, but not all days have to be bad days. And just because we're experiencing the work through of a trauma doesn't mean that it has to take everything from us. We change, we develop, we progress, we're kind of different people, but that doesn't mean that we're just done being who we are. We can take what that is, and we don't have to have all bad days. And other people are not going to get us. People that have not experienced what we have experienced aren't going to get it. They're not going to understand why we don't ever move on. They're not going to understand why we have bad days to begin with when our lives look so great. They're not going to get it, and that's okay. Their understanding of you is none of your damn business. Their understanding of your life holds no bearing whatsoever over your actual life. So the good news is there's going to be bad days, but they don't all have to be bad days. And whether or not other people get it makes no difference to our ability to function, to our ability to say, you know what, today's a bad day. I'm going to go to bed early. And to your ability to say, today wasn't a bad day. It was a great day. Much love, you guys. Say your prayers. I'll talk to you soon.